THPRD Board of Directors work session for June 8th, 2022. Jessica, can you please call roll?
Tia Ping.
Here.
Heidi Edwards.
Here.
Barbie Miner.
Here.
Felicita Monteblanco.
Here.
Alfredo Moreno.
I'm here.
Thank you. And I think we have Julie and Sabrina presenting on Recreation Services Programming Overview.
You bet. I'm going to have, I'm not sure who is starting first, Sabrina or Julie, but perfect. I wanted to note that we'll move through this presentation. We have 45 minutes saved. If we don't need it all, we can move into executive session if the board is willing, because we do have quite a few topics there, and that hopefully will enable a break before the regular meeting. So with that, Julie.
All right. Thank you, Doug. Well, good evening, Board of Directors. I'm Julie Rocha, Interim Sports and Inclusion Director, and I'm joined this evening by Sabrina Taylor-Schmidt, Interim Recreation and Aquatic Director. Next slide, please. Tonight, we'll be taking you through an overview of service highlights, the life cycle of a program, the decision-making matrix, rebuilding and planning for the future, successes, and areas of opportunity. We have three sections to go through, and we'll have an opportunity for you to ask questions after each section. Next slide, please. Today's presentation focuses on our current state, moving forward as we rebuild programs and return to better. The division mission is to provide a broad range of safe, high-quality recreational programs and special events responsive to the needs, abilities, and interests of a diverse community we serve. The Recreation Division is THPRD's largest operations with 351 FTEs and over 27 million in appropriations. We've offered 5,723 classes, and of those, 5,144 ran. We served over 40,000 participants year to date. Of those classes, 2,342 are rec and aquatic, and 2,802 were within sports and inclusion. In 2021, THPRD's RecMobile program served more than 20,000 people, which include RecMobile, NatureMobile, Wellness on Wheels, Fitness in the Park, and Adaptive Recreation. Due to staffing, Fitness in the Park is currently the only program running year-round, and to date, we've served 998 participants. We look forward to providing summer mobile programs. The Rec Division had over 190,000 drop-ins, which include all ages. Next slide, please. These highlights are only part of the scope provided by the Rec Division, and there are a wide range of classes such as sports, dance, fitness, nature, and cooking, consisting of introduction to advanced level with a broad menu of health and wellness options, including several intergenerational services from infants to seniors and special populations. Next slide, please. As the district furthers our DEI efforts, we've expanded our programs. In aquatics, we have the life jacket rental program, free lifeguarding, learn to swim programs, and the Junior Guard Swim Aid Alternate Track Program, which is designed specifically for young people aged 12 to 15 who have not yet learned to swim and are interested in learning about water safety and volunteer opportunities. Within community outreach within the division, we focus on hosting events with community partners and focusing on different cultural communities, such as our Mahaba, Casa Breta, free programs, mobile programs, and free summer and spring break camps. We see teens and tween numbers decrease as we compete with other extracurricular activities. We offer specific drop-in activities geared towards tweens and teens. A few examples: on Friday nights for our tweens, we have basketball, open swim, and we have a middle school track and cross-country program. Teens, we offer Friday night volleyball and drop-in, which consists typically of 30 teens a night. We're averaging year-to-date about 1,500 teens in those programs. We also offer high school and middle school basketball and volleyball leagues. Within our special events, we've created a pathway and inspired new classes, such as cultural and cooking programs, sensory specific swims, and Big Truck Day, our Go Baby Go partnerships, partnering with Washington County to promote the LGBTQ+ events and information, and celebrating Juneteenth with 2 movies and a Juneteenth Awareness History Walk. We continue to partner with the City of Beaverton and other local government agencies. Next slide, please. We have increased our dual language programs with offering preschool, nature walks with teens, which include teens, our Chica program, and swim lessons. We have started our work around gender inclusion, which you'll hear more about later this evening. We've added to our internship program opportunities with Diversify, THPRD's paid internship program, which is designated for college students who identify as Black, Indigenous, and/or people of color. And just to note a success story, our intern Miles, who you met in April, has just successfully been hired as a full-time fitness aide within THPRD. So true success to that program. We also have our Black and Green Fellowship, which is a partnership with the Beaverton Black Parent Union to increase Black students' understanding of the connection between nature and mental health and increase access to nature. In May, we served 12 students from Beaverton School District high schools. And we continue to offer the Nature Experience and Workforce Training NEWT program in partnership with several local agencies. We offer volunteer opportunities such as RISE, Realizing Interest Through Service Experience, which is a leadership program where youth can develop the necessary skills and communications to join the workforce. We have nature opportunities such as monitor your local amphibian population and naturescaping, making every yard a natural area. And that does that for that section. So we'll open up for any questions you may have on just the overview of what we're doing so far.
Any of my
And if we don't have questions,
Just a
Heidi.
quick question. Yeah, just a quick question. I think we maybe missed slides, or did you have a slide to begin with the numbers that you were reviewing?
No.
Okay, that's okay. It'd be great to be able to see that visually at some point. Only just because it goes so fast and so much information with all the numbers, but it sounds very impressive. Thank you.
I don't know that I have a fully formed question. I apologize, but I keep thinking about how, like, as an example, was it Baile Folklorico started this year? And like, I guess I'm kind of like wondering like the evolution of a program like that. And now might not be the right time to answer, and you might just answer it throughout the presentation. But that's kind of what's on my mind is like, how do we decide that we're going to start a new class as an example? And like, how do we measure success?
Well, that's the next section.
Okay, thanks, Julie.
Which Sabrina will be covering if there are no other questions about just our overview.
go for it, Sabrina.
Great. Let's see if I can make this work. Always so many buttons. Okay, great. Greetings. I'm going to go over implementation and development, how we do what we do. This is outlined in detail in our THPRD programs function plan. We're going to start with program service delivery model. A program delivery model is a systematic and consistent approach to program development, delivery, and monitoring, and includes the following. The idea. Program inception or design is generated by staff or the community, and it can also come from current trends. New program ideas start typically before the next fiscal year's budget's planning. For example, staff are evaluating the planning now from this term for next spring term. What will work next year? We use service determined screening questions used by staff to ensure our program or service ideas meet the district's missions and priorities. We also use a service assessment tool. These tools determine community access, market position, fit, and financial viability. Budget, how we allocate district resources. Classes will be built in the next fiscal year's budget and make sure that we're being good stewards of our budgets. Class management, the development of a class. This includes lesson plans, program goals. This process starts 6 to 8 months before the first day of class. An example is staff begin entering information into our internal class management system as early as October before the following summer. And then there's the marketing, the development of the activities guide and other promotional materials. And then program monitoring. We monitor successes of programs, and this includes several components. Program evaluations, programs observation forms, satisfaction surveys, registration monitoring, cancellations, as well as wait lists. As you can see, it's circular, it continues, it's a continual process. Staff look at several factors when considering a new program to see if it is a good fit. Is THPRD the best or most appropriate organization to provide the service? We look if we are spreading our resources too thin or making sure we have the capacity to sustain our core services. In the next few slides, I will dive into fit, finance, and market position. We look at the financial capacity of a program. Is there a strong market position, complementary services, or is this considered a core service? Is there possibilities to collaborate? Not only do we use this tool for new programs, but we use it every 3 to 5 years to evaluate our existing programs. This has been a very valuable tool that we have used when reopening to help us determine what programs what programs that will help us best serve our community and assure that we're making the best use of district resources. Fit is to the degree that service aligns with THPRD values and visions, reflecting the community's interest. Tools we use to determine fit is the participant feedback on the program evaluation and work we do with community outreach and our guiding documents, such as the Vision Action Plan. When a new program or idea happens, we have used focus groups and advisory groups to also solicit feedback. Staff use the displayed 6 questions as a guide and a goal with a goal of answering yes to 4 or more of these questions. We then take a look at financial capacity. For a program to be classified as economically viable, it must answer yes to 4 of the following 7 questions. If it does not answer yes to at least 4 of the questions, it is considered not economically viable. Then we take a look at the market. We ask if we're able to answer yes to 5 of these 9 questions. We evaluate our own programs as well as competitors and identify partners. So we take a look at those wait lists as well as who has the share of the target market. So we're back at this matrix. So when we're looking at this, we want to look and see if there's alternative coverage out there. So this is when we look at who our competitors are out there that could be offering complementary or like services. So we also look at whether or not we need to divest, invest, complementary development, collaboration, or if this is a core service. So using a few examples, I'll walk you through how we do this. So for example, inclusion services. We recognize that this is a good fit for us. This is something that we know that meets our visions, and we're able to answer yes to 4 of those questions. We were not able to answer enough questions for financial capacity, so it is not economically viable. Then we drop down to these questions. Is there high alternative coverage for this program? We do not see a lot of providers offering inclusion services to our programs, so it would be low. But we do see it falls within our core services. So this is something that we would dedicate general fund dollars towards and continue. Another example, dance. We have a lot of different dance classes. So we know that dance is a good fit. We're able to answer those questions. We're able to look and say that we have evidence that it's economically viable. And we look at it, and there is some alternative coverage, but it's fairly low. There's not a ton of dance programs out there. So this is something that we look at that we could advance our market position on and add more classes to. Another example is competitive sports. Again, it answers yes to the fit questions. It answers yes to the financial viability, but there is alternative coverage because we've made there's not a lot of alternative coverage, but we do feel that this is an area that we don't have the best market position in to offer those high level skills, those specialty training. So we're talking about advanced competitive programs. So this is an example where we work with our clubs or our affiliates to collaborate and offer a service, but we're not the primary provider for that service. Another example is we were approached about forest bathing. Now, forest bathing was not able to answer three of the good fit questions because it only got to about 3 of them. And we could not determine it was economically viable. So at this point, we didn't divest, we just didn't invest in it. So we just never pursued it. These things might change. Forest bathing might bring in new audiences. It may become the new thing, and we would revisit it in this model. So now if I can make it into the next slide, move the cursor. There we go. Okay. Program success and monitoring. So this is really a critical component of something that we're doing all the time. Part of successful managing our programs is this monitoring. So we need to assess our program and our service expectations. We utilize those participation evaluation forms and satisfaction surveys. And we also observe our classes. Our program coordinators and program assistants go out and evaluate the classes and make sure that they're meeting the expectations that are set out there. We do that through feedback, and we determine whether there's any missing or desired experiences out there and what needs to be tweaked. We also monitor those wait lists as well as cancellations and implement changes as needed. And we do this process quarterly. I can take some questions on the implementation of programs and success monitoring.
Anyone have questions? I think we're good.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll move on to our final section. So we wanted to celebrate our successes. You know, we have reopened 9 of our 12 recreation and aquatic facilities. We've developed new diverse programs and activities. We've resumed our 9-month programs. We've restarted our inclusion services and brought back special events. We've implemented our gender inclusion training series and internal work groups. We've expanded our employee wellness program. We've continued our new internship program, and then we've created the Diversify internship program. So really excited about all the work that we've done. We've had to rebuild staff completely at almost 3 centers. And it's amazing the work that staff's been able to do to be able to provide services. So next slide, Sabrina. So as we look to rebuild for the future, we want to build a strong foundation with the programs using that matrix that Sabrina talked about. We're going to implement the new requirements on the sports affiliate review with all of our DEI work that we've been working through. Adding diversity, equity, inclusion, and access to existing programs. So that's that reevaluation of looking how we make programs that currently we offer more inclusive. Good example is the softball program and how we need to really look at that gender language and be more welcoming. We want to expand our Thrive After School programming and then really focus on trying to reopen the 2 aquatic facilities. Next slide. So our areas of opportunities are to continue to leverage our partnerships to expand programming and events. Our goal is to return to better as we expand our facility hours and programs. We need to continue to increase our staffing levels to open additional facilities and continue to be creative with the spaces and times that we have available. And that does it for our presentation this evening. So if there are any questions about any of that.
Felicia?
Awesome. Thank you. Great presentation. And I love the photos. Some of those I hadn't seen before. So wonderful. Super cute kids. I'm wondering, I think this was in the previous section, but you had talked about like identifying the underserved populations. I guess I'm wondering like how you go about doing that. Is that terribly formal? Is that terribly informal? I guess I'm kind of curious.
I think it's it's a little bit of leaning into the diversity work we've been doing with Holly, as well as the collaboration with the schools district, and really just looking at our numbers. One of the things I think we've said very clearly is right now we don't have the best data. So a lot of it is about feel and touch. So we know that, like the great work that the Rec Mobile program does, Julie can speak to this a little bit, going out to where we know the audience, going to audiences to reach them in the apartments and complexes in some of those areas, and really leaning into those relationships that our community outreach specialists have made, and forming those partnerships, such as the Black and Green Parenthood Association, and recognizing that that's a new audience, and listening to their needs. What is it they want to do, and trying to collaborate to come up with those new ideas. And that's where we find we're the most successful.
I think all I would add is, we've really worked to diversify our staff, and when you see staff that look like the communities that they serve, we get more requests, and that's how that Mahaba event came up, right? We had an employee that is serving the Arabic community, and they reached out for a partnership because they trust us and they want to work with us. So those partnerships that Sabrina talks about are really valuable as we look to serve the community and expand those services. And I think that we have to meet people where they're at, and going out to the public and seeing what those needs are. We want people to trust us and see us as a provider for all areas. And we have to build that trust, and we build that by going to where they are and providing Rec Mobile programs or adaptive programs. I mean, during the pandemic, we really had to go out and meet people where they were.
Thank you.
Anybody else have questions? I had a question about have we, not necessarily like having bilingual classes, but do we hire bilingual instructors? And then is there a thing where maybe like on a class that we can start focusing and saying like there is a bilingual instructor to help encourage those who maybe want to take a drawing class but feel inhibited because they won't understand anything, but would maybe be more likely to if perhaps that person speaks Spanish or the language or anything like that? Or have we surveyed when we do Centro or anything about certain classes that because most of the time it's parents registering for their kids and they're not as worried for their kids, but for themselves they don't really have any options. Are we surveying to figure out maybe what classes they would like, and maybe potentially hiring Spanish speaking only and having a Spanish speaking only drawing class or something like that to help serve those groups?
I'll start this one, Julie, and maybe if you want to pick it up and answer it. So there's about 4 pieces there, Tia, that I would like to break down for you. No, it's great. I think that's all really good information. So when you looked at the program lifestyle, like we talked about, when we're planning classes 6 to 10 months in advance, yes. So if we have a staff member that we can commit. So when you think about something that's a little more specific, like an art and dance class, that is something that we're working with the instructor to collaborate on the curriculum, and we can identify, and we have been able to do that, and we have a wonderful diverse staff that we're just continuing to grow, a very bilingual staff. When it comes to programs like swim lessons, sometimes that gets added a little bit shorter, and we create like kind of pop-up almost moments for that, and do some reach out on those kind of classes, because the scheduling of the staff is not as advanced as the program guide would necessarily allow, I think I would say. So it's a little harder to get out in front and commit to being like, we're going to have Spanish swim lessons on Tuesday and Thursday at 5 o'clock. It tends to be like, oh, great, we have Spanish speaking staff on Tuesday, Thursday. Let's see what we can do with that. And it's great because we have that flexibility and pivot and, of course, demand for those programs. Regarding the survey and the collection of information, that's still a little bit more informal, and I think it's something that we really want to lean into with our customer engagement group as Centro expands. We've really, Centro has really taken off in the last 2 with the collaborations with the communications department. And I think that is going to be a great opportunity to learn what other users, specifically our adults, because I think you're right, like parents Centra's already given us an opportunity to show them what the district has to hold, not just what they came in the door for. But now that's an audience that we'll be able to use as a platform to learn about what some of our adult learners want to do and activities they may want to do. We have done fitness classes in Spanish. We had a really popular Zumba class that was offered for a while in Spanish, and we've done that. So we try to find those opportunities and plan for them. Julie, I think you guys have done some stuff too on your side.
Yeah, I was just gonna add, like, for RecMobile, our director is bilingual and able to go to the communities and communicate with the parents, because a lot of times it's the parents that don't speak English, maybe not necessarily the children, to have that respect to be able to communicate with them in their native language. I was going to bring up the Zumba classes as well. And then something else that, we offer is language services within our inclusion services. And so that's for folks that may be hearing impaired, who maybe need an interpreter, ASL interpreter. And we actually have somebody at our LC Sturf Center that requested those services, and we were able to contract out with a company and get somebody who does American Sign Language so that they can participate in those classes. So we focus on all aspects of making sure that people feel comfortable and able to participate. Obviously, we can grow that, but we do have those opportunities that we are doing now.
Perfect, thank you. And then as we hire staff, is that something that's is like language skills or bilingual language was something that propels like a applicant to more of a top of the list just because it's like an extra?
We have a bilingual pay incentive for those
Perfect.
staff that are bilingual, and it's valuable in their position.
Great.
You
Thank
hire
you.
everybody. It's not everybody, but
Alfredo.
Yeah, thanks for all this information. I think the only thing I just wanted to just applaud is just kind of in my limited time with the district is just kind of what seems to be kind of a philosophy of kind of power sharing in terms of listening and empowering the frontline employees, the community members to share what they think would work really well, even if it's something we've never tried before. So I really appreciate that. Really cool to hear about the RecMobile coordinator being bilingual, being able to talk to parents. You show up consistently. Maybe somebody feels empowered with a relationship and trust to say, you know what, I would really love, and I think I have, 10 people I know in my neighborhood who would take this if you had it, XYZ, but if they don't see you very often, they would never think it would be out of their lane to suggest anything like that when they're just trying to get their kids signed up. So thank you for just kind of that, as you said, meeting people where they are, but with staff and community, making them feel like that they can kind of speak to those of you who are able to review course offerings and things like that, and things can happen, so it's not just we've never done it that way before, and you're just one person, we're not going to listen to that idea. So keep up that good work. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, any last questions? Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Would you like to transition? We could go on to the next call, which would be executive session now.
I think so, if everybody's okay with that. Okay,
All
we
right.
still have to change to the other thing,
Yeah.
though. Yep, okay, sounds good. See you guys there.
Thank you.